who was Franz Joseph, the emperor who led the vast Austro-Hungarian Empire into the inferno of World War I. Today, we re-dive in deep into the life of this enigmatic ruler with 5 fascinating facts you might not know. First, let's talk about longevity. Franz Joseph sat on the throne for an astonishing 68 years, from the revolutionary year of 1848 all the way to 1916. To put that in perspective, he saw the rise of industrialization, the unification of Germany, and the scramble for Africa. His reign was one of the longest in European history, shaping the continent for decades. He wasn't just a ruler. He was an institution, the symbol of a bygone era struggling to survive in a new world. His lengthy rule provided stability, but it also meant that the empire's policies were often stuck in the past, unable to adapt to the rapidly changing political landscape of Europe. When World War I erupted in 1914, Franz Joseph was already 84 years old. Think about that, an octogenarian leading a fragile, multinational empire into the most devastating war the world had ever seen. The Austria-Hungary he ruled was a complex tapestry of different ethnicities: Hungarians, Czechs, Poles, Croats, and many others, all with their own growing nationalist ambitions. The empire was often called a prison of nations, and these internal tensions were a constant source of instability. Franz Joseph, a figure from a much older generation, struggled to comprehend these new forces of nationalism that were threatening to tear his realm apart from within. His advanced age also meant he was more reliant on his advisors, who often pushed for more aggressive policies. The spark that lit the fuse of war was intensely personal for him. The assassination of his nephew and heir, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, in Sarajevo on June 28, 1914, was a devastating blow. This wasn't just a political crisis. It was a family tragedy, pushed by his government and a desire to punish Serbia, whom he blamed for the attack. Franz Joseph issued the fateful ultimatum that led to his declaration of war. This single act triggered a domino effect of alliances, dragging all of Europe's great powers into the conflict that would become known as the Great War. It as a somber reminder of how personal grief and political pressure can converge to change the course of history forever. Throughout his reign, Franz Joseph was known for being deeply conservative. He was a man of duty, discipline, and tradition, often seen in his military uniform working tirelessly at his desk. He fundamentally resisted the democratic and liberal reforms that were sweeping across the rest of Europe. While he saw this as preserving the integrity of his dynasty, this resistance to change ultimately weakened the empire. By failing to grant more autonomy to the various ethnic groups, he fueled their desire for independence. When the war came, this lack of unity proved to be a critical weakness, as many of his subjects felt little loyalty to a state that didn't represent them. Finally, Franz Joseph did not live to see the end of the war or the empire he had ruled for so long. He passed away in November 1916, right in the middle of the conflict. He left his successor, his grandnephew Charles I, to inherit a throne that was already on the verge of collapse. Just 2 years later, in 1918, the Austro-Hungarian Empire was dissolved, and the map of Europe was redrawn. Franz Joseph's death truly marked the end of an era, and his story is a powerful lesson about how the decisions of individual leaders can shape the fate of millions. History is so much more than just dates and battles. It's about the people and the personalities behind them. If you found this interesting, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more deep dives into the past. Thanks for watching.